I've been doing Google Ads now for a long time, more than 15 years. For 12 of those years, I've been running a Google Ads specialized agency called Big Flare. I've learned a lot during this time, and in today's video, I will share with you the top lessons that I've learned. It's taken me a lot of time and testing to learn this stuff, so stick with me today so that you can shortcut the process and learn it all really quickly. You have to understand where Google Ads sits in the overall marketing funnel if you want to be a truly effective advertiser. Now, there are multiple ways of thinking about this. I like to use the IDA framework, which you can see here, and it stands for awareness, interest, decision, and action. You may have heard different terms before that basically mean the same thing. For example, when we look up here at awareness, you may have heard this being called tofu or top of funnel, or even demand generation before. And over here at the decision phase, you may have heard this being called BOFU, bottom of funnel, or demand capture before. The exact words you use matter less than you understanding the concept and understanding that Google Ads mostly targets traffic right here at the bottom of the funnel at the decision phase. You can refer to Google Ads traffic then as demand capture traffic. Things like Facebook ads and YouTube ads, on the other hand, primarily operate at the top of the funnel, the awareness stage, the demand generation stage. Now, this is important to understand for multiple reasons. Firstly, Google Ads only works if there is existing demand. People need to already be aware about the type of product or service that you have, and they need to already be searching for it in Google. That's why it's sometimes called demand capture. You are capturing demand that already exists rather than generating it. Secondly, because Google Ads is bottom of funnel, it has a lower risk reward profile. Now, what I mean here is that while the performance tends to be better, meaning your conversion rates are normally going to be higher, the trade-off is it tends to be less scalable than top of funnel traffic. There's a good reason why the funnel starts wide at the top and gets narrower as you go down. It's because there are more people to target at the top, resulting in more scalability in the top of the funnel, but lower conversion rates at the top versus the bottom of the funnel. Once you understand this, then you can make much smarter decisions about how to spend your ad dollars. The next lesson is that competition is good and cost per click doesn't matter. I'm referring to when you are researching a market, looking at the keywords, trying to decide if you can profit by advertising in this market or on those keywords. Keyword tools like Google Keyword Planner will usually show you an estimated cost per click bid and competition level for the keywords. You actually want to look for high competition keywords, not low competition, because high competition means that these are commercial keywords that you can make money on. My team and I at my agency Big Flare have generated over $150 million for clients from Google Ads, and pretty much all of that revenue came from high competition keywords, not low ones. As for cost per click, whatever CPC you see in your keyword tool does not matter. What truly matters is your conversion rate and average order value or average customer value. To explain, the cost per click is set in a competitive auction and is dictated by how much your competitors are willing to bid. Your competitors need to run ads profitably too, and so how much they can bid is determined by how much they can earn, which in turn is dictated by their conversion rate and the value of a sale or customer to them. So a much better way to gauge whether you can enter a market, rather than looking at cost per click, is to look at the websites of the other businesses advertising on that keyword. Do you think your conversion rate and customer value can stack up against them? Is your website at least roughly as good as theirs, or ideally better? If yes, then you can advertise profitably in Google Ads regardless of what your keyword tool says about the cost per click. If no, then work on your site, get your conversion rate up, improve your product or service, improve the amount of value you extract per customer before getting into Google Ads. I'm super into health and fitness. Over the years, I've done powerlifting, CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, bodybuilding, triathlon, free running, you name it. If you're experienced in health and fitness like me, you may have heard people say that for weight loss, your training plan is only 30% of the equation, and actually 70% of your weight loss is actually other things, but mostly the food you eat. It's very true in weight loss, and in Google Ads, there's a similar thing going on. Optimizing your Google Ads account is actually only 30% of the equation when it comes to running successful Google Ads. The other 70%? All the stuff that happens off of Google Ads on your website. I'm talking about the quality of your product or service. I'm talking about your website conversion rate, your average order value, your lifetime value of a customer. The true key to a successful Google Ads campaign is having a good product that converts at a high rate and earns you a good amount of money per conversion. If you have that, you will dominate the competition in Google Ads, even if you're making mistakes in your ads management process. Don't dedicate 100% of your time to just optimizing your Google Ads thinking that this is the main key to success. Also invest in improving everything that happens after the click. Your website and product or service, your conversion rate, AOV, LTV, all that lovely stuff. My next lesson is, if in doubt, let's zoom out. What I mean here is, you want to avoid looking at daily numbers or very short time frames when reviewing your Google Ads data. There is always a lot of random noise and fluctuation when you zoom too far into a short time frame. Being too zoomed in can be an emotional roller coaster as things go up and down a lot from day to day. This is normal. To avoid emotional burnout and to make better decisions in Google Ads, you need to zoom out and look at the longer date ranges like monthly data and year-over-year data. A lot of the peaks and troughs get smoothed out when you look at things this way, allowing you to see that those daily peaks and drags were just part of the normal fluctuation in your ads campaign. So don't stay too zoomed in to small date ranges or small sets of data. When in doubt, just zoom out and pay more attention to the longer term picture when making decisions about your strategy. Prioritization is the master skill when it comes to running Google Ads effectively. When you run a Google Ads campaign, there is potentially a limitless well of tasks you could be doing at any one moment. If you wanted to, you could spend countless hours doing things like scouring your search term report, looking for negative keywords, going over placement reports, to find your money wasters, rotating images in your PMax asset. The list of potential things you could be doing with your time is endless. It's easy to get lost in optimization tasks that don't drive a high amount of meaningful impact whilst losing track of the more important things that do drive impact. That's why it's so important to know how to prioritize. You want to spend your limited time on the most important things to work on. One basic thing you can do is to always have your screens ordered in terms of descending order of cost, so that the highest spend items are always at the top. Spend more time on these than campaigns or ad groups with lower ad spend. It's difficult to really articulate how to know what to prioritize as it's taken years to build this knowledge. Let me try and break it down for you with a 3-part framework. My next lesson ties in with the previous one about prioritization, and that is to understand the Google Ads priority pyramid. Pretty much every aspect of Google Ads can be grouped into one of these 3 categories: goals, targeting, and creative. The 3 categories sit in a priority pyramid like this, with goals on the bottom as the most important foundational thing. Targeting is the next most important, and creative sits on the top as the smallest section of the overall picture, meaning it's actually less important than the other 2. When I talk about goals, what I mean is having good answers to questions like these ones. What bid strategy am I using? What target am I giving to that bid strategy? How much am I budgeting for the account and per campaign? Most people overlook the importance of setting good goals and targets for the system to optimize towards, but this is actually the foundation, the most important decision in your ads account. Don't just blindly set a random ROAS target without giving this some serious thought and analysis. When I talk about targeting, it means different things depending on the campaign type. In search campaigns, targeting means your keyword selection. You want to make sure you have all the best keywords in your campaign. In shopping ads or performance max for e-commerce, targeting is primarily dictated by your product feed and product titles. You want to make sure your product titles are good and have the right keywords inside there. For display and video campaigns, targeting is handled by audiences, so you want to make sure that you have the right audiences in your campaign. Creative has the smallest part of the pie because honestly it's less important than the other 2 items. I'm not saying crafting good creative is a waste of time, but I am saying that you should spend more time on goals, bids and budgets, and targeting. Creative has a lesser impact, and really all you need to do with your creative is to be clear. Which brings me to my next lesson. And that is that when it comes to your ad copy in Google Ads, clarity beats creativity every time. What I mean is that instead of trying to be really clever and persuasive in your ad copy, you just need to clearly state that you have what they're looking for. Google Ads isn't really a traditional ads platform, it's a search platform. People are looking for things here, and your job is to tell them you have what they are looking for. I like to explain this with an analogy. Imagine you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard advertisement for Cheetos. You're feeling hungry, so at the next opportunity you pull over, walk into a store and get some Cheetos. When you are in the store, you ask one of the workers there, "Where are the Cheetos?" He tells you that the Cheetos are down in aisle 3, just past the bread section. You go and grab the Cheetos, pay at the counter, and leave. In this story, Google Ads is not the billboard. Nope. Google Ads was the store worker who told you where to find what you were already looking for. Imagine if instead of saying aisle 3, the worker had instead tried to recite to you a lengthy sales script explaining the wonderful benefits of eating Cheetos, positioning Cheetos as the ultimate snack food you need in your life, hyping you up and trying to get you excited about the prospect of soon buying Cheetos. If he had done this, if anything, you would be more likely to slowly back out the store and go somewhere else that has less annoying staff. When writing Google Ads ad copy, you do not need a PhD in persuasive sales copywriting. You just need to be very clear and show them you have exactly what it is they're searching for. Being too creative and persuasive can, if anything, harm your performance. Instead, keep it clear, keep it concise. Next up, we have work with the machine, not against it. What I mean is that a lot of the AI and automation within Google Ads is incredibly good and works as long as you know how to use it. Don't be the person who is trying to optimize thousands of cost per click bids manually because they do not trust the algorithm to do it for them. These days in Google Ads, I like to call the best approach to account management a cyborg approach. It's part human, part machine. You as the advertiser need to know what parts of Google's automations work really well and how to set things up so that those AIs can be effective. If you're constantly going for the more manual approach, instead of using the AI and auto options available within Google Ads, you could be at best wasting your time and at worst actively harming your account. There are many options for AI automated optimizations in Google and not all of them work well in every scenario. You need to know which ones to use and when. For example, AI optimized bidding is good in most circumstances, whereas AI optimized audience targeting is less clear. If you're not sure if a particular AI optimization option in Google will work for you in your circumstance, then you can research and see what experts are saying about it. Here on my channel, I try to provide clear, actionable information based on my testing on what works and what does not. But ultimately, even experts like me are not always right, and when they release content, they aren't necessarily talking about your specific situation. The best way to know for yourself whether a particular AI optimization option is legit is to test it yourself and let the data decide. Which brings me to my next point, which is that data is better than intuition. When I say this, what I mean is that instead of assuming that a thing does or does not work, you should, wherever possible, test it and let the data decide. Here's an example. I once had a client that was a big reseller of Microsoft Office and Windows software. Within the search query reports, we often saw people searching for things like free Microsoft Office or download Office for free. My client was adamant that we should add a negative keyword to block anyone looking for the free keywords. They had an intuition that these keywords would never work. The thinking was that if someone is looking for free, they won't buy the paid product. Sounds logical, right? I actually advised the client that we should run the free keywords and let the data decide. Do you know what the data showed in the end? Strong return on ad spend and positive profit acquired by deliberately bidding on the free keywords. Just because someone is looking for free right now does not mean they're never going to buy in the future. It probably means you need to bid a lower cost per click on that person, which will be taken care of for you by the algorithm when using smart bidding. But it does not mean you should block that term entirely. I have many stories like this, and I won't bore you with them all. Suffice to say, the market and customer journeys are very complex and difficult to predict, so wherever possible, use data to help guide your decisions above intuitions. As you look to test things and get data instead of making assumptions, it's very important that you have at least a basic understanding of statistical significance and probability. Understand that everything about your performance in Google Ads is governed by probabilities and thus prone to fluctuations. For example, your conversion rate. If your monthly conversion rate average is 3%, You need to understand that that is an average and that it can go up and down a lot when you zoom in just due to random chance. Your return on ad spend or cost per acquisition might say one thing in Google Ads. Again, this will naturally go up and down due to random chance. The smaller the time frame or data set, the more the fluctuation. This is why it's so important to, if in doubt, just zoom out. For statistical significance, you don't really need to understand the equations and maths. You just need to understand that when you are looking at small data sets, the numbers are not likely to be statistically significant, and any variation you see could just be due to luck. For example, if you're comparing the performance of two campaigns, one of them gets a $100 CPA, the other one gets a $20 CPA. Which campaign is better? You might think the answer is the $20 CPA campaign, however, it is not necessarily that one. The best response actually when seeing those campaigns is to actually then ask another question, which is, what volume are they at? If both campaigns only had one conversion, then actually the correct answer is to say, I don't know which campaign is better. I don't have enough data. If, on the other hand, both campaigns have had 1,000 conversions, then you can be much more confident that the $20 CPA campaign is the better one. As a general guideline, look for at least 30 to 50 units of the thing you are comparing before you can start to get a bit more confident in the result. For example, if comparing the click-through rate of two ads, if you make sure that both ads have at least 30 to 50 clicks, you can be more confident in the result. In the real world of business, where we're playing with real money and don't have infinite time and money to wait on the results of a test, you often do have to make compromises when it comes to getting statistically significant results. That said, when you have to make those compromises, you should at least be aware of the compromise that was made. If you closed a test early due to limited budget, you should make a note to come back to that test and test the loser some more if and when you are in a situation where you have more budget for testing. Hey guys, in just a moment I'm going to teach you about my top lesson about bid strategies, but before I do that, let me quickly let you know about my Google Ads agency, Bigflare. My team and I at Bigflare have made over $150 million in revenue for our clients using Google Ads. What we do is we handle all the management of your ad campaigns for you so you can sit back, relax, and watch the results come in. We've got tons of case studies up on our website. In one of the recent ones, we actually helped blockbluelight.com to get an increase in monthly revenue of $1.46 million, all from Google Ads. If you want results like this, then hit the link in the description below this video. You'll be able to book a time to talk with me or my team, and we'll sit down together and figure out if my agency can be a good fit for you and your business. All right, back to the main content for today. Smart bidding is one of the AI optimization options within Google that I think works really well in most cases. Smart bidding is the catch-all term for all the conversion-focused bid strategies. Maximize conversions, maximize conversion value, target cost per acquisition, also known as maximize conversions with a target CPA. Target ROAS, also known as maximize conversion value with a target ROAS. Make sure you're accurately tracking conversions and also revenue if you're e-commerce. Generally speaking, you can use a maximize strategy when you're just starting out, then graduate to a target strategy when you have 30 to 50 conversions. But don't just use smart bidding. Also understand how it works. Type about smart bidding into Google, go to that help page from Google, read everything there. I know, it's a ball ache doing all that reading, but I think you can do it in under an hour, and if you're spending money and planning to make profit in Google Ads, you really need to know how smart bidding works. When your Google Ads campaign is past the testing phase and it's hitting your cost per conversion or return on ad spend goals, you need to shift your thinking on how goals and targets work. I see a lot of businesses that think of their Google Ads in terms of a spend target or ads budget. In terms of their goals, their thinking is something like, I need to figure out what I can budget for Google Ads, and then that will be my limit. I should not spend more than this number. When you set goals like this, you are limiting yourself by budget instead of limiting yourself by performance KPI like CPA or return on ad spend. This is not an optimal way to generate as much profit as possible from Google Ads. Instead of limiting yourself by spend, it's better to limit yourself by either ROAS or CPA. So for example, you're running Google Ads profitably at an average return on ad spend of, let's say, 500%. That means that for every $1 you spend on ads, you generate $5 in revenue with your Google Ads. So in this case, Google Ads is operating like a money printing machine. You put in $1, you crank the handle, and $5 pops out the other end. If you had a little money printing machine that was doing that, why would you limit the number of dollars you're putting in? If you want to profit maximize, what you would do instead is to put every dollar you have available into that little money printing machine and let it print that money as fast as possible. When you limit yourself by budget, what you are saying is that, hey, I have this money printing machine, but I'm not going to put all my dollars into it. Assuming you have the capacity to fulfill as many leads or sales as you want, then instead of doing that, limit yourself by KPI, meaning your return on ad spend or cost per acquisition. Make sure your return on ad spend or CPA is profitable, and then your budget should just become spend as much as possible as long as that ROAS or CPA holds out. This may sound obvious to some, but you will be surprised how many companies get caught up in budget-based thinking where they have a money printing machine but they refuse to put in as many dollars into that machine as they can. Don't be that business. I often see people boasting that they got a sky-high return on ad spend or that their cost per acquisition is super low. I got 1000% return on ad spend, they cry. Or, I'm getting leads for just $2, they say. But taken on their own, CPA and ROAS can be vanity numbers. 1000% ROAS sounds good at first glance, but what if you can only spend $100 at that ROAS target? At the end of the day, that means you won't actually make much take-home profit. 500% ROAS might sound lower, but if you were able to spend $100,000 at that 500% ROAS, then you're probably making loads more profit than the other guy boasting about his 1000% return on ad spend. In Google Ads, getting a higher return on ad spend or getting a lower cost per acquisition comes with the trade-off of having to use lower cost per click bids, resulting in lower overall spend and conversions. Boasting about ROAS or CPA on their own is meaningless. You need to work the numbers and figure out your actual take-home profit and maximize that at the end of the day. In Google Ads, having good judgment and being patient will generate more profit than furiously performing busy work in the account. Imagine two scenarios. Scenario 1. The results went down yesterday. You panic, you dive into the campaign, you shift your ROAS targets and budgets, you spend 3 hours researching negative keywords, and you add those in. You rework all your ad copy, launch new ads, and duplicate the campaign and then relaunch it. Scenario 2. The results went down yesterday. Instead of panicking, you zoom out. You realize this is a normal fluctuation, that overall your smart bidding strategy is performing, and you realize that the drop in results yesterday is not statistically significant. Instead of furiously reacting to the change in results yesterday, you continue working on your longer term strategy and plan within the ads account and within your business. The person in scenario 2 not only saved a bunch of time and emotional heartache, they will also get better results. Don't have a big reaction to changes in results that are not statistically significant and that are within the normal range of fluctuation. Don't try and overpilot or manually optimize things in response to these changes. Be patient, focus on your long-term plan, focus your mind on understanding the numbers, the results, and the system. In this video, I have focused on timeless lessons in Google Ads, things that don't really change a lot, but you're running specific tactics and granular campaign strategies in Google Ads, and these things do change quickly sometimes. The specific tactics that worked a couple of years ago are no longer effective today. I mean, I remember not long ago where smart bidding didn't work very well, performance max did not exist, broad match was to be avoided, and single keyword ad groups were the most effective structure. None of these things are true anymore. Stay on your feet, don't be married to the specific tactics you are using today, because those things change all the time. Keep yourself educated on Google Ads or hire someone whose job is to stay at the forefront of Google Ads, and you'll avoid losing money by falling behind. If you like this video, then you might enjoy this video right up here where I show you how clients that work with me were able to go from 7 figures in annual revenue all the way up to 8 figures in annual revenue and beyond. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you want more awesome Google Ads strategies, and I will see you on the next one.